the artificial intelligence voice of Ryan Holiday narrating this pod slice summary of the Daily Stoic podcast. Morgan Wade's segment on the Daily Stoic podcast, hosted by Ryan Holiday, explores the ethos of productivity, discipline, and maintaining a rigorous routine. By her saying that her music and doc series might benefit at least one person, she reiterates the idea of impact, inspiring others towards positive health and lifestyle choices, even if it only affects one other person. Morgan stresses that she aligns her creative workflow with her peak productivity hours, a trait that contrasts with the stereotypical late-night routines of many musicians. She wakes up early and has some morning routine that includes time for reflection and exercise before allowing her day to unfold. She describes her routine of journaling, having coffee, playing with her dog, and attending early morning gym sessions. She also points out a typical musician sleeping schedule, preferring to wake up early rather than staying up late. Her strong discipline extends to when she is on tour, where she has her portable gym equipment and maps out local gyms at each tour stop for her workouts. Her preference for maintaining her fitness routine is not to fight boredom or downtime, but a way for her to stay healthy physically and mentally and to achieve optimal performance and productivity levels. Walking, for instance, which she indulges in both for exercise and while conducting meetings, serves as a form of meditation for her and helps her maintain a healthy mood. Morgan highlighted the importance of adapting to changes, is owing to her touring schedule requiring versatility. This necessity to adapt challenged her usual strictly maintained routine and fostered resilience. Hence, her routine isn't just a matter of comfort or habit, but a source of resilience and mental strength. She talks about her journey abroad and how being in foreign locales gave her the opportunity to explore local gyms and change her perspective on her flexible routine to viewing it as an interesting challenge. Ultimately, she sees routine as key, as not just because it provides structure, but because it contributes to her well-being, enabling her to cope with the extraordinary demands of her career as a touring musician. In the continuation of the Daily Stoic podcast, Morgan Wade shares interesting insights about her routine, her writing process, and her relationship with physical exercise. Morgan enjoys the challenge of change, and rather than finding comfort in a rigid schedule, seeks opportunities to keep herself on her toes. According to her, it helps her to not be too fragile if things don't go according to her plans. It was a typical morning for Morgan involves running. On this day, she ran 4 miles. She turns to guidance from the internet for her running schedule and relies on her friend, C. Gregory, for powerlifting workout plans. Morgan's self-driven pursuit of physical fitness extends in her ambition to complete a 100-mile race before undergoing a medical procedure. She uses the recuperation period after the race as time to recover from the surgery. Morgan discusses how she listens to the same song repeatedly when she's working out or running. She tunes into the melody and rhythm to focus her mind and enter a creative space. Suggestions of wrestling with lyrics and shaping a song while in motion indicate the close relationship she finds between physical fitness and creative inspiration. Morgan maintaining a routine isn't just about organization. She believes the fundamentals of discipline lie in cementing a routine which contributes to mental resilience. The concept of productivity is unique for her. She finds early mornings more inspiring and productive than any other time of the day. To maintain her momentum, Morgan refrains from watching passive content during commutes, using that time to work creatively instead. Morgan discipline is all about starting and getting into a rhythm. She asserts that the key to maintain discipline isn't about exerting an insane amount of willpower every day, but about starting and finding your rhythm. Morgan points out how productive it feels to return home by 9 or 10 a.m., having already accomplished most of her tasks while others are just beginning their day. Contrary to the common belief of waiting for inspiration to strike, Morgan breaks the mold by emphasizing consistent routine and physical activity, which she finds naturally foster creativity. When forced to sit and write, she can create, but the music that emerges during her physical activities feels more authentic to her. She sees her mindless walks as a form of meditation, supporting her belief that being outside on the move springboards her creativity. Morgan's conversation offers an insightful perspective on personal routines, creativity, and discipline, emphasizing that physical wellness and creative work can mutually influence each other in a positive way. Morgan Wade shares an insightful perspective on discipline and health, emphasizing how a strong discipline towards a physical exercise routine is firmly rooted in a healthy mental toughness. To her, physical exercise has been more engaging, implying that taking a break sometimes requires more discipline than pushing herself harder. She mentions her doctor's advice after a medical procedure about not going overboard with exercise, yet staying active, advice she takes to heart, proving her commitment to maintaining a consistent fitness regime even at that time. Morgan's trip to the gym 7 days a week might not be his recommendation for all, but for her, it is quite rewarding. She reveals how she enjoys pushing her limits on weekdays and then slightly tapers off during the weekends, except for her running sessions. And to her, these disciplined routines have ensured that she experiences no shoulder pain after her ultra race, indicating the hand-in-hand relationship of discipline and well-being. Morgan's dedication to regulating her fitness regime has proven to be an essential break from her music. She believes it provides a balance between her pursuits and prevents inevitable burnout from taking over. Delving into her past, she reveals how alcohol used to be an integral part of her gig as a singer-songwriter. The bar culture, coupled with being paid in beer, had indirectly influenced her to a path of alcoholism. However, she chose sobriety 6 years ago. A decision that compelled her to redirect her focus on what she genuinely wanted to accomplish with her music. A decision that marked the onset of a balanced, healthier lifestyle and a more professional approach to her career. Talking about her producer, Sadler Vaden, Morgan shared how he influenced her to take music seriously. Vaden's advice to go all in on music instead of casually balancing it with a side job resonated with her, urging her to fully immerse herself in becoming a serious musician. In her discussion with Ryan Holiday, Morgan Wade also drew attention to the insecurities and fears that musicians often face. Turning down the noise of the world and allowing her thoughts to flow freely while running had enabled her to manage her fears and reconnect with her strategic approach towards long-term goals. For Morgan, discipline towards music, workouts, and running has marked the path for her successful career. She points out how balance, endurance, and total dedication have signaled towards a more productive and creative journey ahead, journey lined with invaluable lessons, growth, and a commitment towards diligent hard work. Ryan Holiday and Morgan Wade delve deeper into the discussion on how the modern world's distractions, particularly in the form of media and digital devices, hamper our productivity and creativity. This matter is particularly concerning given today's recognized need for psychological stillness, especially in decision-making or during moments of channeling creativity. They quite aptly elaborate how televisions in the gym or screens filling up gas stations bombard us with enough distractions to deter our focus from the task at hand or the immediate surroundings. Morgan echoes the sentiment, pointing out her disregard for constant distractions and the urge to consume irrelevant information while working out. Morgan brings forth the aspect of recovery and sobriety, candidly sharing her experience with drugs and alcohol. She discusses the time she decided to go sober, an awakened realization that terrifyingly knocked her door after a heavily intoxicated performance in New York. Her narrative offers a stark reminder of the hold alcohol can often have on a person's life, describing the journey of sobriety. Morgan highlights how challenging it was initially, but as time passed, she began questioning whether she had changed enough to control her drinking habits. Those her dreams, where she would drink and wake up devastated, served as constant reminders of why she chose sobriety in the first place, reinforcing her determination to stay sober. This dives into a broader discussion about discipline, need to recognize, one's boundaries, whether it involves an addiction or something as benign as a mobile phone. Ramian then refers to her decision to distance herself from social media, noting how its absence led to her having more time to read books. She also discusses the OCD aspects of compulsively checking and rechecking social media or reading comments, a harmful habit that ultimately muddied her thoughts and lead to moments of unwelcome distress. The conversation once again comes back to the point of being enslaved by our vices. Whether it's television news, unhealthy habits, or even social media, the two agree that using these outlets never brings satisfaction. Instead, it often leaves one feeling more enraged, envious, or numb. In Domitian's terms, Ryan and Morgan unpack how our urges, distractions, and addictions often end up controlling us. The immediate gratification these offer is often surface level and short-lived, emphasizing the need for self-control and the power of letting go. In this discussion, Morgan discloses the challenge of managing her public image amidst the prying eyes of fans and critics alike, particularly in the digital world. Lissy admits to having toyed with the idea of limiting her social media activity to a year-end update, delegating routine posts to her team in order to distance herself from the influence of comments. Morgan opens up about the mental conflict over reading comments, despite knowing that critics often operate from a space of their own struggle. It is the negative comments that inevitably lodge themselves in her psyche, causing unwarranted distress. Louise shares an anecdote of how Johnny Cash's manager suggested developing an inner citadel, a mental vault impervious to external critique to safeguard creative expression. This resonates with Morgan, as social media's democratic yet unfiltered feedback can often instigate self-doubt or self-consciousness to potential saboteurs of creative authenticity. The notion of vulnerability in creative work is then broached. Morgan had contemplated removing the most vulnerable song, 27 Club, from her album out of the fear of too much exposure. Ironically, that song became a favorite among listeners, offering Morgan an insightful perspective on vulnerability and artistic expression. She understands that concern over public reception can be counterproductive. The focus instead should be on exploring raw, genuine emotions. And she taps into the nurturing influence of our young siblings, their candid innocence and disregard for others' opinion acting as frequent reminders of her initial artistic drive. Once again, the noxious effects of public opinion and the liberating influence of disconnection from the internet come to the fore, reminding her of the importance of growing and cultivating her own sense of artistic focus and creative hunger. However, success introduces new stresses. Morgan candidly discusses dealing with paparazzi and facing the cruel underbelly of public opinion. Reading negative comments after a paparazzi incident only reinforced her decision to distance herself from online feedback. The realization that other artists face similar criticism somewhat normalizes the experience for her. Ian, echoing this sentiment, emphasizes the idea of carving out a mental space secure from external influence and criticism, a space that encourages originality and artistic integrity. Morgan Wade speaks candidly about handling the paradox of public attention and personal space in her career. She shares a lighthearted anecdote about trying to avoid recognition by masking her tattoos and maintaining a low profile. However, choosing to hide her identity feels uncomfortable as she realizes that the attention, to an extent, is self-inflicted, a byproduct of her success as an artist. She expresses her discomfort over having to make fashion decisions dictated by her desire for privacy, exemplifying the larger issue, the unintended effects of success. In her quest for public recognition, she now feels compelled to carefully curate her public outings to maintain some semblance of privacy. She expands on how the internet, although an invaluable tool for success, has been a major source of stress. She highlights how negative comments from people who don't follow her work or even know her personally have affected her well-being. On the other hand, she enthusiastically acknowledges the support from her fans who invest their time and money in her work, who understand and connect with her music. These are the opinions, she insists, that genuinely matter. Recalling her initial apprehension about releasing 27 Club, Persist 7 Club, a profoundly personal song, she expresses gratitude for the connection that song established with her listeners. If one person resonates with her content and finds it beneficial, she feels accomplished and fulfilled. And she discusses her experiences with fame, branding them as champagne problems. She views them as inconveniences that she signed up for but struggles to handle. Attempting to solve one issue often leads to another, underlining the complicated nature of fame and success. She also admits to understanding the controversies and falsehoods that often garner attention on the internet. Ryan Holiday likens the artist's journey to a paradox, a desire to be validated and known, accompanied by the fear of the repercussions. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing that external achievements cannot fulfill internal needs. Morgan agrees, highlighting the necessity of soul work. She admits that being successful might be a simpler task than battling personal demons with no validation. Both conclude that success, while gratifying, is accentuated by an undercurrent of self-work that goes unseen and often unappreciated. In this portion of the Daily Stoic podcast, Morgan Wade is caught in a candid conversation with Ryan Holiday about the unique challenges she faces as a successful artist. Morgan talks about grappling with the complexities of being a public figure and maintaining a level of personal comfort. Balancing home life and road life is a constant endeavor. He also touches on how even simple tasks such as posting a selfie on the internet can underscore the narcissistic tendencies that she believes everyone has. The key to this, she mentions, is finding a balance and making choices that are meaningful. Morgan reminisces about the euphoria of performing live and connecting with her audience. The sheer joy of seeing people resonating with her music and singing along is an irreplaceable experience for her. However, she also acknowledges the struggle of missing home while on tour, especially observing the impact on her band members with families. To strike that elusive balance, Morgan discusses the strategy she's put into place for her upcoming tour, alternating between 3 weeks on tour and 2 weeks of break. These conscious choices, she acknowledges, stem from her past experiences of saying yes to too many commitments, resulting in her feeling worn out. Is Ryan Holiday empathizing with Morgan's dilemma, shares his personal experiences as well. He describes the conflict between keeping a stable routine at home, which is conducive to his work and personal life, and the professional obligation to hit the road. Ryan also asserts that is not just a commitment. It's inevitably saying no to something else, including personal well-being and happiness. Following this trajectory, he emphasizes the importance of learning to say no consciously and confidently. Morgan echoes Ryan's sentiments, reflecting on the missed opportunities to interact with her family and loved ones due to work commitments. She realizes it's imperative to prioritize what holds significant value for her, leading her to advocate the importance of balance. This gives her the impetus to take assertive measures going forward, focusing on activities meaningful to her and instituting balance in her schedule. Ryan adds an impactful point on the volatility of opportunities, drawing on his interaction with a sports psychologist who emphasizes that it's crucial to know what not to swing at and conserve energy. This interesting conversation about the push and pull of professional commitments and personal well-being is capped off with the issue of mental health, a topic often sidelined. Morgan speaks about her struggle to express her emotional state openly, alluding to her upbringing in the South where discussing mental health was not customary. She holds hope for a future where these conversations become commonplace. Ryan Holiday and Morgan Wade delve into the topic of generational mental health stigma in the Daily Stoic podcast. Wade expresses frustration at the common perception that Generation Z and millennials are fragile due to their openness about mental health issues. She absolutely refutes this, stating just because you didn't treat your alcoholism or your anxiety or depression doesn't mean you didn't have it. Referencing undiagnosed mental health issues in past generations seemingly reticent about their struggles. Wade suggests these common mental health conditions have always been there, but it's only now that people have started addressing them more openly. Ryan supports this viewpoint, himself suggesting that the perceived increase in mental health issues is more related to people doing something about their problems rather than the problems themselves increasing. He goes a step further, stating the reason we have these issues is because you didn't deal with your issues and your parents didn't deal with their issues, and it's a chain of suffering. The implication here is a cycle of untreated mental health struggles passed from one generation to the next compounds the problem and evolves into a more complex issue. Well, additionally, both Morgan and Ryan emphasize that all generations grappled with their own set of issues. However, those problems were perceived differently due to sociocultural context, thus demonstrating that humanity's struggles maintain a consistent presence, albeit in evolving forms. And they argue that people across different generations have faced the same fundamental problems, yet dealt with them differently. The conversation also highlights the immense societal pressure and the subsequent mental health toll on individuals, suggesting an essential need for us to contextualize mental health within a wider societal perspective. It's not just personal suffering, but rather it's intricately connected various societal structures and demands that continually shape the ways in which it's perceived and addressed. This engaging discourse about generational views on mental health emphasizes the ongoing need to break the stigma and openly discuss our emotional well-being. It reinstates the idea that mental health care should be seen not as a sign of fragility, but one of strength and self-awareness. Voices, as Wade and Holiday concur, it's paramount we echo these conversations across our societies to normalize the discourse on mental health. Check out the full podcast by clicking the link in the description below. Make sure to comment and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for listening to this podcast summary episode of the Pod Slice.